5 times a year, I'm confronted by someone either in the comments section of my videos or in real life with what has come to be known as Pascal's wager. For those of you unfamiliar with Pascal's wager, it is a now common argument for belief in God originally offered by the 17th century philosopher Bobby Pascal. I think that was his name. The idea is stated simply, if crudely, by a recent commenter. The death sentence is coming for us all, atheist. Are you willing to wager what Pascal put forward? If I'm wrong, there is nothing. However, if you are wrong, there is a very heavy price to pay. As I mentioned, that is actually a rather boorish rendition of Pascal's wager, which very much dishonors Pascal's far more sophisticated understanding of the various possibilities. But this has become the common understanding. I lose nothing by believing in God, but if I don't believe in God and I'm wrong, I will suffer an eternity of torture or some terrible thing like that. In my reading of Pascal's wager, he doesn't actually couch it in these negative terms, but offers a more positive version, holding out the possibility of eternal happiness as a reward for belief. Christians have been very smart in suggesting the threat of hell instead, as humans are intrinsically loss-averse, meaning we are almost always far more indisposed to potential loss than we are roused and emboldened by potential gain. Given that, I will respond to the negative version provided by our commenter. First of all, it's important to note that no Christian offering Pascal's wager to an atheist seems to have considered it for themselves. They don't practice both Christianity and Islam in case their Christianity is wrong and they're risking an eternity of torture for not following God's final messenger, Muhammad. Nor are they practicing Mormonism in addition on the outside chance that their failure to do so puts in jeopardy their only hope of becoming a god with their own universe and near infinite supply of wives. Sorry, ladies, don't take offense, that's just the dogma. Those offering Pascal's wager to an atheist like myself assume there is only one universal concept of God, who he is, and what he'll do to us if we don't believe in him. And they, apparently, couldn't possibly be wrong. They begin this wager acting as if they already know of God's existence, character, and will, but Bobby himself made no such claim. If there is a God, Pascal wrote, he is infinitely incomprehensible, since having neither parts nor limits, he has no affinity to us. We are then incapable of knowing either what he is or if he is. In other words, folks who offer Pascal's wager as this commenter did have simply stacked the deck in their favor. They claim knowledge where there is clearly none. This presumed knowledge includes an afterlife. It presumes a God who cares about our species. It presumes a God who acts in human history. It also presumes a God who, more than anything else, cares about what we believe rather than how we behave towards our fellow man, and that he will judge us solely on that basis. None of these things are known. They are simply presumed by believers. But if you're going to simply presume without any evidence whatsoever, thing after thing after thing which stacks the deck in your favor, what exactly is the point? If we are not going to presume all of these things, one might imagine a God who, like me, is absolutely repulsed by such vile cowardice. Pretending belief and abandoning one's own conscience simply to save one's own ass? Is this not detestable and entirely crass? Is this what God wants from us, really? And if so, why worship such a deplorable creature? Even more repulsive is what can be inferred about the beliefs of the person offering such a wager. As any mature, reasonable person knows, what one believes or doesn't is not a matter of choice. We either genuinely believe a thing or we don't. To say that we believe something which is not believed is to lie. This is not something that we could hide from an all-knowing being. So, those offering Pascal's wager are suggesting that their God would prefer that we surrender our integrity, or rather abandon it altogether, in service to God's unending ego. These people are admitting to worshiping a God so desperately in need of sycophants, he will overlook our lying to his face. Our commenter says he loses nothing, but I disagree. First, he has not only wasted his entire life believing, or at least pretending to believe, a lie, but has likely condemned his children to the same fate. He has more than likely suffered unwarranted guilt and self-condemnation, and likely passed that on to his children as well, teaching them to embrace an error and reject a truth. In the bigger picture, he has done his small part to thwart human progress, human understanding, and well-being, and in that regard has caused us all a loss. But worse, he has admitted to worshiping a being, or at the very least has implored us to worship a being, solely because that being is a violent asshole who will ignore our decency and integrity, preferring instead our compliance. I consider that a tremendous loss. But these people are happy to tell us that they worship a torturer, a being who has not only used violence endlessly in the past, even on his own son, but promises to do so eternally for those who simply don't or can't believe. These people are telling us that they would be happy to bow down to such a being, knowing that they will have friends, family, and loved ones, all of whom will be tortured endlessly by this monster. Eternal happiness? I don't see it. Not without a lot of coke. Am I willing to wager what Pascal put forward? Absolutely. I hate cowardice. And if this being exists and oversees our doings, the salvation of believers will be every bit the hell they imagine for me and those like me. But we won't have to offer our respect for and allegiance to the monster whose existence this wager demands.